The Vorthan Empire had existed for over 2,000 years as the galaxy's most patient civilization. Their ships moved through space like silver teardrops, powered by harmony drives that bent space-time without violence. They had never fired a weapon in anger, never conquered a world, never forced their will upon another species. Instead, they explored, they learned, and they shared knowledge with anyone willing to listen. Commander Zefter stood in the observation chamber of the diplomatic vessel Harmony's call, watching the small blue world grow larger through the crystalline viewport. His skin shimmered with the pale gold that indicated curiosity and anticipation among his people. The third planet of this yellow star system had caught their attention 3 cycles ago, when their deep space sensors detected structured electromagnetic emissions, radio waves, primitive but unmistakably artificial, suggested the presence of a developing technological civilization. The Vorthan High Council had debated for months about how to approach these new beings. Some argued for distant observation, allowing the species to develop naturally without interference. Others pushed for immediate contact, offering the gifts of advanced technology and galactic citizenship. In the end, they chose the middle path. That had served them well for millennia. A single probe would be sent to establish peaceful communication and assess whether these beings were ready for contact with the greater galactic community. Zefter had volunteered for this mission because first contact was his specialty. He had successfully introduced 17 different species to galactic civilization, each time with patience and careful diplomacy. These humans, as the beings called themselves, would be his 18th success. Their radio transmissions suggested a species capable of complex thought and artistic expression. They had music, stories, and what appeared to be a rich cultural heritage. They also seemed to argue with each other frequently, but Zefter viewed this as evidence of passionate engagement with ideas rather than inherent aggression. The Harmony's call was a masterpiece of Vorthan engineering, designed specifically for peaceful contact missions. Its hull contained no weapon systems, only the most advanced communication arrays in known space. Translation computers could decode and interpret virtually any form of communication, while cultural analysis systems helped diplomats understand the social structures and belief systems of new species. Most importantly, the ship projected an aura of calm through subsonic harmonics that naturally reduced aggressive responses in most life forms. Dr. Valana, the mission's chief xenobiologist, joined Zefter at the viewport. Her skin displayed the soft blue patterns that indicated scientific excitement. She had spent months studying the fragments of human culture they had intercepted from radio and television broadcasts. The humans seemed remarkably diverse for a single species, with multiple languages, belief systems, and cultural traditions existing simultaneously on their world. They appeared to be a social species with strong tribal instincts, Valana reported, consulting her data tablet. They form complex hierarchical structures, but also demonstrate remarkable cooperation when faced with common challenges. Their entertainment broadcasts suggest they value concepts like heroism, sacrifice, and protection of their young. These are typically positive indicators for peaceful contact. Zefter nodded approvingly. The patterns suggested a species that might be ready for galactic citizenship, despite their relatively primitive technology. Their radio emissions had only existed for about a century, which meant they had achieved electronic communication remarkably quickly after discovering electricity. This suggested high intelligence and rapid technological adaptation. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the command center of the Lunar Defense Station, studying the holographic display that showed every object larger than a softball within Earth's solar system. Her career had been built on the assumption that humanity's first contact with alien life would probably not go well. Too many historical precedents showed what happened when technologically advanced civilizations encountered less developed ones. The results were rarely pleasant for the less advanced party. The unknown object had appeared on the edge of the solar system 18 hours ago, moving at speeds that defied known physics. It had decelerated from near-light velocity to conventional speeds, without showing any signs of the massive energy expenditure such maneuvers should require. More disturbing, it seemed to be able to hide from Earth's sensors when it chose to do so, appearing and disappearing from tracking systems like a ghost. Captain David Torres, her tactical advisor, highlighted the object's trajectory on the display. "It's definitely headed for Earth, Admiral. The flight path shows multiple course corrections that suggest intelligent control rather than natural orbital mechanics. Whatever it is, someone is piloting it, and they know exactly where they're going." Chen had spent her entire adult life preparing for this moment. The Lunar Defense Station was humanity's first line of defense against threats from space, equipped with the most advanced detection systems and experimental weapons platforms Earth could build. The station's crew represented the best minds in human military science, all focused on the single question of how to defend their species against unknown threats from the stars. The experimental warship, UN's Defiance, hung in space near the defense station like a predator waiting to strike. The ship represented 5 years of crash development in military technology, built around the assumption that Earth's first contact with aliens would require strong defensive capabilities. Its hull bristled with railgun turrets, missile pods, and experimental energy weapons. More importantly, it was designed to be operated by a crew willing to fight against impossible odds to protect their homeworld. Dr. James Park, the station's chief xenolinguist, had been monitoring radio transmissions from the unknown object for the past 6 hours. His translation algorithms had detected structured communication patterns, but the content remained frustratingly unclear. The signals seemed to follow mathematical progressions that suggested intelligence, but the meaning behind the transmissions remained mysterious. "I'm getting something that might be language patterns," Park reported from his workstation. "The signals are definitely artificial, and they're being directed toward Earth. But there's something strange about the transmission method. It's using quantum entanglement communication protocols that shouldn't be possible with our current understanding of physics." Admiral Chen felt her stomach tighten. Advanced communication technology suggested an advanced civilization, which probably meant advanced weapons technology as well. If these aliens had hostile intentions, Earth's defenses might prove totally inadequate. The Defiance was humanity's most powerful warship, but it had been built to fight other humans using known technology. Against an alien species with faster-than-light travel and quantum communication, it might be no more effective than a wooden sailing ship against a modern aircraft carrier. The Vorthan probe continued its approach toward Earth, its gentle harmonics broadcasting peaceful intentions in 17 different mathematical languages. Commander Zefter had no way of knowing that human detection systems interpreted his ship's stealth capabilities as evidence of hostile intent. To human sensors, a vessel that could appear and disappear at will looked like a scout ship preparing for invasion rather than a diplomatic envoy seeking peaceful contact. Lieutenant Maria Santos monitored the approaching object from her position at the sensor array. The alien vessel's behavior patterns troubled her deeply. It seemed to be scanning Earth's electromagnetic spectrum, cataloging radio frequencies and mapping communication networks. To Santos, this looked like intelligence gathering for a potential attack rather than the careful cultural study that Zephyr was actually conducting. "Admiral, the object is conducting detailed scans of our communication infrastructure," Santos reported. "It's mapping our satellite networks, cellular towers, and internet backbone systems. This looks like preparation for a communications blackout attack." Chen nodded grimly. Cutting communications would be the logical first step for any invasion force. Isolated communities couldn't coordinate defense efforts or share intelligence about enemy movements. If these aliens were planning an attack, they were approaching it with the kind of strategic thinking that suggested extensive military experience. The Harmony's call reached Earth's outer atmosphere and began broadcasting what the Vorthans considered a standard peaceful contact protocol. Mathematical proofs, prime number sequences, and harmonic progressions designed to demonstrate intelligence and non-hostile intent. The ship's translation computers had analyzed human communication patterns and were preparing messages in several Earth languages. Unfortunately, Earth's translation systems were designed to decode human languages, not alien communication protocols. The sophisticated mathematical progressions looked like weapons targeting algorithms to human computers. The harmonic frequencies resembled sonar mapping patterns used by military submarines. Most critically, the quantum communication protocols triggered every security alert in Earth's defense network. Asterisk. Dr. Park stared at his screens in growing alarm as his translation systems produced increasingly disturbing interpretations of the alien signals. "Admiral, I'm getting what looks like targeting coordinates and tactical assessments. The computer is translating parts of this as primary objectives identified and defensive capabilities analyzed. This isn't first contact. This is reconnaissance for an attack." Admiral Chen had heard enough. She opened a communication channel to the Defiance and spoke with the calm authority that had earned her command of humanity's space defenses. "Captain Rodriguez, prepare your ship for combat operations. We have a hostile alien vessel approaching Earth with apparent hostile intent. Your mission is to intercept and neutralize the threat before it can complete its intelligence gathering mission." Captain Marcus Rodriguez had served in Earth's Space Navy for 15 years and had commanded the Defiance through its initial trials and crew training. His ship represented the pinnacle of human military engineering, and his crew consisted of volunteers who had accepted that they might not survive humanity's first space war. Every person aboard the ship understood that they were Earth's last line of defense against the unknown. "Understood, Admiral. Defiance is moving to intercept. All crew to battle stations." This is not a drill. The massive warship's engines ignited, accelerating the vessel toward its rendezvous with destiny. Railguns charged with magnetic field energies while missile systems armed their nuclear warheads. Every system on the ship prepared for the possibility that humanity's survival might depend on the outcome of the next few hours. Commander Eftar watched the approaching human vessel with growing concern. His ship's sensors detected massive weapon systems and what appeared to be preparation for combat. The human ship was broadcasting identification signals that his translation computers interpreted as military designations. This was not the peaceful response he had expected from a species ready for galactic citizenship. Dr. Valana studied the human vessel's design and felt her skin shift to the dark green that indicated fear among her people. "Commander, that ship is designed for warfare. The whole configuration and weapon placement suggest a species with extensive combat experience. Perhaps we should withdraw and request additional diplomatic resources." Zephyr shook his head slowly. The Vorthan way was patience and understanding, not retreat in the face of apparent hostility. Many species initially responded to first contact with suspicion and defensive postures. His job was to demonstrate peaceful intentions clearly enough that even the most paranoid species could understand them. The Harmony's call activated its defensive systems as a precautionary measure. Energy shields designed to protect against space debris and cosmic radiation came online, while the ship's computer systems prepared to take evasive action if necessary. These were purely defensive measures, but to human senses, they looked like weapon systems charging for attack. Lieutenant Santos watched her displays with growing alarm as the alien vessel's energy signatures spiked. "Admiral, the target is powering up what appear to be weapons systems. Energy readings are off the charts, suggesting technology far beyond our current capabilities. Recommend immediate engagement before they can achieve full combat readiness." Admiral Chen had seconds to make a decision that would affect the future of humanity. The alien ship showed every sign of preparing for attack, while Earth's defenses were still being organized. If she waited for the aliens to make the first move, they might destroy Earth's orbital defenses before humanity could mount an effective response. If she ordered an attack against a peaceful vessel, she might start an interstellar war that could end with Earth's destruction. The choice was made for her when the Defiance fired a warning shot across the alien vessel's bow. Captain Rodriguez had intended it as a signal to halt and identify themselves, a standard procedure in Earth's naval traditions. The high-velocity tungsten round passed within a few hundred meters of the Harmony's call, its kinetic energy creating a brilliant flash as it vaporized small particles of space dust to Commander Zephyr. This was an unprovoked attack by a hostile species. The projectile had passed close enough to his ship to damage their delicate harmonic drive systems. No peaceful species would fire weapons at a diplomatic vessel during first contact procedures. Clearly, these humans were not ready for galactic citizenship. They were aggressive, paranoid, and willing to attack without provocation. The Harmony's call immediately transmitted an emergency distress signal through quantum communication channels, alerting the Vorthan fleet to the hostile contact. Zephyr ordered evasive maneuvers while his crew prepared to defend themselves against further attacks. The peaceful first contact mission had become a survival situation in the span of seconds. Captain Rodriguez watched the alien vessel's erratic movements and interpreted them as preparation for attack. The ship's energy signatures were increasing while it broadcast what appeared to be distress signals on multiple frequencies. To Rodriguez, this looked like a scout ship calling for reinforcements after its reconnaissance mission had been discovered. The stage was set for a conflict that neither side wanted, but both sides now believed was inevitable. Human defenders prepared to protect their world against what they believed was an alien invasion force. Vorthan diplomats called for rescue from what they believed was an encounter with a violent, unreasonable species. The greatest tragedy was that both sides were acting rationally based on the information they had, but neither side understood what the other was actually trying to accomplish. The response to Vorthan rescue fleet materialized at the edge of Earth's solar system like a constellation of silver stars suddenly ignited. 47 ships of various sizes emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their Harmony drives creating gravitational ripples that Earth's sensors detected as massive energy discharges. Fleet Commander Kelthan stood on the bridge of the battleship Eternal Peace and studied the tactical situation with growing anger. The distress signal from Zephyr had been clear. The humans had fired upon a diplomatic vessel without provocation, demonstrating the kind of aggressive behavior that the Vorthan Empire had worked for millennia to eliminate from galactic civilization. Kelthan had seen species like this before during the early days of Vorthan expansion. Some civilizations seemed incapable of resolving conflicts without violence, viewing any contact from strangers as a potential threat requiring immediate military response. Unlike Zephyr, Kelthan was not a diplomat. He commanded the Empire's pacification fleet, vessels equipped with non-lethal but highly effective suppression systems designed to neutralize aggressive species until they could be properly educated in peaceful behavior. His ships carried stasis projectors that could freeze entire fleets in temporal bubbles, consciousness modulators that induced calm behavior in violent species, and reality anchors that prevented the use of dangerous weapons technologies. Commander, we are detecting significant military activity throughout the human solar system, reported his tactical officer. Multiple armed vessels are converging on our position, and we are receiving what appear to be surrender demands in several primitive languages. The humans seem to believe they can dictate terms to us. Kelthan felt his skin shift to the deep purple that indicated controlled anger among his people. These humans had attacked a peaceful diplomat and were now threatening a rescue operation. Their arrogance was matched only by their ignorance of the forces they were challenging. A single Vorthan battleship possessed enough firepower to sterilize an entire planet, while their defensive systems could withstand anything a primitive species might deploy against them on Earth. Admiral Chen watched the alien fleet's arrival with a mixture of dread and determination. 47 ships represented a force capable of overwhelming Earth's defenses through sheer numbers, even if individual human vessels proved superior in combat. The Defiance and its sister ships' resilience and determination were humanity's most advanced warships. But 3 ships could not fight an entire fleet and hope to win. Captain Rodriguez commanded the hastily assembled human defense force from the bridge of the Defiance. His ships had been designed for different purposes before being pressed into military service. The Resilience was originally an asteroid mining vessel, equipped with massive boring lasers and ore processing facilities that had been converted into weapon systems. The Determination had been a deep space construction ship, carrying fabrication systems and material processes that could potentially be used to repair battle damage or construct emergency defenses. Captain, I'm reading energy signatures from the alien fleet that exceed our theoretical maxims, reported Lieutenant Commander Sarah Kim from her sensor station. Individual ships in their formation are producing power outputs equivalent to our entire global electrical grid. If they're all armed with weapons proportional to their energy generation, we're looking at extinction-level firepower. The conflict had revealed something important about both species. Humans possessed a creativity and adaptability that could overcome seemingly impossible odds, while Vorthans had developed wisdom and patience that allowed them to step back from total war when they discovered their error. Together, they began to explore possibilities that neither species could have achieved alone. Captain Rodriguez often stood on the observation deck of the rebuilt Defiance, watching Vorthan and human vessels working together in Earth's orbital space. The ship that had been designed as humanity's last defense against alien invasion had become the flagship of the first interstellar alliance in galactic history. The universe was vast and full of unknowns, but humanity was no longer facing it alone. The story of the human response became legend throughout the galaxy, told wherever species met for the first time. It served as both warning and inspiration. showing how easily peaceful contact could become warfare, but also how understanding and cooperation could emerge from even the most disastrous beginnings. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest or superiority, but through the determination to keep fighting for what they believed in, and the wisdom to stop fighting when they discovered they had been wrong. Asterisk.